Welcome to Stop Outdoors, everybody. As you can see in my hand here, I will be reviewing one of the most badass knives, the Adamas Benchmade 375. This bad boy is by far one of the best knives I've ever owned and used. I bought it when I was in the Marine Corps and used it while I was in service. And I have some awesome stories I'd like to share at the end if you stick through. So please enjoy this video, but first, let's get some of those specifications. Some key things to think about when you're looking at the Adamas Benchmade 375 is that the price comes in at right around $275 brand new. It is a fixed blade, so it doesn't fold. The blade length itself is 4.2 inches long. The overall length with it in its sheath is 9.17 inches overall in length. It comes with this really cool clip that screws on into the front and allows you to make it MOLLE compatible. So like you see on this backpack next to me, I can attach it straight up on to this backpack wherever I want, wherever there's MOLLE webbing. It comes with some accessories, paracord to wrap your handle because it doesn't come with any handles, so you're gonna have to learn to wrap. And it comes with a little strap that goes over the top, so that way you can keep it secure and it doesn't fall out. The other cool thing to consider is that this sheath itself has a great locking mechanism. I'm not sure, I'm gonna try to be quiet, see if you can hear it. Locks straight into place and does not come out. Like this knife does not come out. It is really secure. So that's a pretty cool feature to also consider when looking into this. Not only that, but this is a drop point style blade. So as you can tell by the times I've opened it, it has serrations on the top with a drop style at the tip. The Adamas comes in two carrier coat finishes, black and tan. Its overall weight, including sheath and clip, is right around 6.77 ounces. It is made from 6365 HRC steel or tool steel, and it makes it very, very, very durable and allows it to withstand lots of abuse. Just very hardened steel and resistant to weather as well because of the chromium that is put into it. Now, to note as well, this blade comes just under 1/4 of an inch thick, and also for some of those knife enthusiasts, it's a well-balanced blade. Put it on your finger, and here, I'll just show you. Put it on your finger, and it will just balance ever so nicely, just like that. Now, I bought this knife about 6 years ago in a deployment. When I bought this, I bought it for about $180. Today, it's going for about $275. In my opinion, that's a little pricey, but I think overall the knife literally lives up to expectations. I think that this knife will be like a forever knife in your bug out, camping, survival, because you'll be absolutely impressed by this thing, I promise you. The carrier coat finish holds up to the wear and abuse that you put it through. As you can see, after 6 years, that's the wear that I got. It's pretty extreme on it. It's pretty extreme wear. There's a little bit of rust. But I really haven't taken care of it. So that coating really, really takes care of this blade. And even after the wear comes off, it's got that tool steel. So it's mixed with some chromium in it. So the weather resistance is there, but it will rust because, I mean, it's still exposed to oxygen and weather, so it will eventually rust. I like the fact that the teeth on the top stay super sharp. It will cut through anything that you really put it through. Think about sawing anything that's probably like 3-4 inches and it'll go right through it. These teeth maintain their durability. They're like thick. They're just really like, I guess creative, unique. And I thought that was a pretty cool point that this knife has. Secondly, the blade itself, like the edge, really retains the sharpness. Like it does not really chip. I mean, I haven't had it chip, and it just doesn't dull. This tool steel stays sharp, and I mean, you could probably just shave with it. You know, that's just how sharp it, stays even after using it. So that's pretty crazy. Not only that, the handle itself comes with paracord. Now, I don't personally like that. You can go on Amazon, you can go ahead and go buy grips for them, but it comes with paracord and you can learn to wrap the handle. I didn't do this wrap, a buddy of mine did when I was in the service. But whatever he did, it maintained and it held pretty well over the years. I haven't had to, I guess, redo it. So the paracord handle will hold fairly well. And honestly, it's really not uncomfortable to hold it as long as you do it right. On the back of it, it has like a little crusher so you can sit there and crush anything, coconuts, nuts, whatever that you're trying to do, skulls maybe. But I overall love the blade. It hasn't failed me once. It's sleek, it's unique. I believe the durability to be at max and would recommend it to pretty much anybody that's in the market for a solid fixed blade that's a little shorter, lighter, and just will not fail you. I would give it a 5 out of 5 stars, and just really consider Benchmade Adamas as one of your next knives to potentially purchase for your survival camping trips or an apocalypse scenario. So keep this in mind when you're looking for a knife to add to your collection. Now the Adamas comes with this sheath, this plastic sheath right here. As you can see on the sides, it has multiple holes. In these multiple holes, at least at the bottom, you can see there's screws, because it comes with this like clip right here. It attaches on the back side of it, and what it allows you to do is, like I said earlier in the video, attach it to like a bag that has MOLLE webbing on it, or you can sit here and, unfold the top just like that, unlatches, and flip open. You gotta squeeze and it flips, and you could then just put on like your belt or like a duty belt itself, and it just clips back in place, locks in, and you pretty much can put it 90 degrees, you can put it 180 degrees. You can kind of just customize how the clip just sits and orients on your belt. So I found that to be like really versatile and really cool. So adds like a cool customizable feature for your bag, your loadouts, and stuff like that. Now it also has like this button, comes with a strap that goes over the top of the knife, to keep it secure from falling out. I took it off. I never used it once because, as you can hear, and it clicks in place very well. I'll do it again because honestly, super satisfying. So that's also another feature, that click and that lock in place. Super, super nice. You won't ever lose your knife for fear like, it's gonna fall out, because I know I have a few knives that sometimes it just feels like they're just gonna fall out or they just don't seat right. But you won't have that problem with this. Every single time over the last 6 years, this knife has locked into place, never once came out. I do have a couple of cons about the knife. One of them being actually the MOLLE clip. So sometimes when you put the MOLLE clip on the webbing, it gets really tight, and sometimes it makes it a little difficult to get to this little locking mechanism on the back right here and unlock it to, I guess, get it off the MOLLE webbing to put it somewhere else. So I guess it's a bit of a struggle to do that. And lastly, seems like the screws strip, so be careful when you're using a Phillips to change it out. Sometimes you'll strip the screw. I have a little bit of stripping on them, so just be aware of that. Lastly, the handle itself, like I mentioned earlier, it's paracord. Some people have a problem wrapping or learning to wrap handles, so keep that in mind when buying this. You're gonna have to learn to wrap your handle, or you can go on Amazon and you can actually purchase handles for both sides. They're made of micarta, I don't know. They're expensive. I looked at them and they're going for $40 to $60 for a set. So I think just looking up a simple YouTube video and learning how to wrap your handle is sufficient enough, because honestly, like I said, it is pretty secure in your hand if you can just wrap it right. You don't have to waste all that money. So now we're at the end of the video. You made it. We are gonna go into story time. So sit back, enjoy, and listen to some stories with me. So now I have like 2 stories I would like to share. Both are about this knife. So the first story I'm gonna talk about is my buddy. He ended up going to SEER. SEER is a course for mainly pilots that are downed in enemy territories that need to go through survival, evasion training, rescue, just basically how to escape the enemy and survive off the land. So he ended up signing up for the course and went for the course, but didn't have a knife. And I just bought this brand new. I'm not kidding you. Came from the commissary, walking into the barracks that we were at, and he's like, "Hey man, I really need a knife." And he's like, "Can I take your knife? I promise you I won't break it." And I'm pulling it out of the box, and I'm looking, admiring this thing, and I'm going, "I guess, man. Yeah, sure." So I ended up letting him take the knife. That's when he wrapped it. He ended up wrapping it and went off and did the course. A week goes by, he ends up coming back, and when he came back, he literally had nothing but good to say about this knife. While he was on the course, or in the course rather, he ended up cutting a bunch of bamboo that was, 3 to 4 inches thick with the saw, and he said it was just literally like butter. It was literally like sawing through butter, and didn't have any problems with that. He said the blade literally didn't chip, was cutting through everything. He was talking about how there were people on the course where their K-bars were failing, bending, breaking, and there were other name brand fixed blades out there that were also failing, like chipping, edge chipping, dulling of the blade. They just really weren't holding up to the abuse that the Marines were putting through at the time. But what did hold up the entire time was this knife. He said this knife was just exceptional. He was so, I guess, impressed about it that he actually went out and bought his own. He bought a black one. And from then on, he has used it in the Marine Corps in his time in service. And I honestly wasn't expecting this knife to be like so impressive to people. And it really stood out so much that he went out and bought one literally the time he came back from his SEER training course. The last story I have for you guys is a story when I was using it. So I got my knife back from my buddy, and literally within about another month, we were off into the Okinawan jungle and doing some training missions through there. And while we were doing those training missions, we got wind that there was a monsoon coming in. Category 2 is predicted to hit the island, and our unit was like, "Yeah, it's okay. We'll go out and train anyways. If it ain't raining, you ain't training, right?" So we went out there, and it was nice. It wasn't like it was hot, and I wasn't thinking anything of it. And literally within a day, it just torrential downpour. Poured and poured and poured. We were sitting in, foxholes and stuff like that, and they were just literally filling up with water, and we had to move because it became actually so bad that staying in them was just, god awful. We were soaked, everything was soaked, cold, the wind picked up, and everybody was just kind of like, what do we do now? Well, I ended up just, again, bringing this bad boy, and I was like, I gotta build some sort of wind barrier, some shelters, and I started cutting down bamboo, and my experience, it sawed through bamboo, just like my buddy described it, like butter. I was just cutting them down, and the blade just withstood every abuse I was putting it through. I even used the back of this as like a hammer to start putting stakes in that I was using to, with paracord. And, I was so impressed by the fact that I didn't even sharpen it or even maintain it after he gave it back to me. And it was still doing all of that shit. So like, for me, in that moment where I was building shelters like crazy, trying to help my buddies in like a semi-survival situation, and it just kept going and allowed me to build the shelters, allowed me to get my men into them and out of that water and start drying off. And that day, this knife became the #1 go-to knife that I recommend to anybody looking for something that will never fail them. $275, definitely worth it. If you can get it cheaper, buy this knife. It will not be unimpressed. You will be very impressed, and you will very much not stop talking about it, just kind of like I keep rambling about it now. So I would like to thank you guys for sitting through the stories and these videos, and please hit that like button. It literally goes a long way for me, and it allows me to keep doing this teaching and reviewing as a passion of mine. And it just, the support, again, it just goes a long way. So thank you, and enjoy the rest of your guys' day. Have a good one.